This is the Pan-African show called Africa, and today we brought a great guest for you, all the way from the other side of Africa. If you could please introduce yourself. Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Johnbosco Paul Amogor.
Okay.
I'm from Nigeria.
Welcome to Ethiopia.
Thank you.
So, what and who is Mr. Johnbosco?
Mr. Johnbosco is a filmmaker,
Okay.
director, producer, writer, and editor.
Wow.
A complete filmmaker.
Brilliant. So how did you get into film?
I got into filmmaking as a kid actor.
Okay.
From my teenage, I was like 15.
Brilliant.
15 years, yeah. My mother, that's a lady, my mother,
Okay.
Millicent Jack, the best award-winning costumier in the whole of West Africa.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So you had that history behind
yes,
you.
she just won the Viewer Choice Award in Nigeria
Okay.
with a movie called Amina.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's the reason why
You
I
got
am
into this.
today.
Now that you mentioned that, you have to walk us through, being a teenager, or even younger than a teenager, if
yeah.
mom was in that field. I'm assuming that is obviously what inspired you to get into it, but watching her do what she does at a young age, how did it make you feel? Did you actually enjoy it? Because, when we were young, we were a little different.
If I didn't enjoy it, I will not
Be a...
continue. Like I will just fall apart.
Okay.
Even then, there was a fight. I even stopped going to school, all because of entertainment.
Okay.
I'll go to school one day on stage.
Okay.
Made me not let me not go there.
As a filmmaker and director and writer, and I believe you act also.
Yeah, I do.
Do you act in your own movies?
I normally act in my own movie.
So how hard is that, acting in your own movie as well as directing your own movie? Explain to me, please.
It's not difficult.
It's not?
Yeah.
But you have to be behind the camera.
You know why? Those cameramen you're seeing there, they are the better director than they know about.
Than the actual director himself?
Yes.
Okay.
So when I'm done with my CU, I go there, monitor your CU, monitor other people's CUs. So it's not, I can't be here and say, action.
No.
Yeah.
So you have to believe in your cameraman.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Big up to all the cameramen
Yeah.
and even our cameramen. Thank you. So you are now in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
So what brought you to Ethiopia is my first question.
Actually, my kind of filmmaking, I have passion for African film, like African story.
Okay.
So I wish to touch all Africa countries. So I've been in Ghana for like 15 years now. I've traveled to Zambia, been to Sierra Leone. So I said, okay, when else will I go? Let me try the East Africa, this part of Africa, Ethiopia. Then I make my research, and I decide to visit Ethiopia to see how it is.
Beautiful. So now that you are in Ethiopia, any inspirations of making a film here?
There's always inspiration when it comes to Africa. But I got a little bit disappointed when I come here because Ethiopia is like, okay, let me use this word, a veggie land for entertainment.
Mm-hmm. Compared to Nigeria, yes.
To Nigeria.
Definitely.
Not even Nigeria. Nigeria is our senior brother compared to Ghana.
Oh, okay.
The other places. So, and I discovered also that the government didn't make it flexible for them. And it's hard.
For our film industry.
Very, very hard here.
In what way? Just name one thing that has been an obstacle for you.
Okay, like I tried to make a film the moment I get in.
Okay.
They were telling me, before you bring a camera to this country, you have to pay a fee. Before you do this, you have to pay this to the government. And you don't need to own a professional, a cinematic camera in Ethiopia like Red and Co. I said, why? I want to film with Red. So before I bring a camera to Ethiopia, I have to pay a fee.
What kind
for bringing the camera down here. And a whole lot of things. So
now, this information, was it from the actual government office that you got this information from, or fellow filmmakers or people?
Fellow filmmakers.
Okay. So maybe we should go straight to them and discover, maybe find out.
Find out from the government.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I'm sure they have certain kinds of stipulations. That you might just have to pay tax when you bring it in, which is what most of our own, filmmakers actually do, because camera is not actually allowed to come in for free. So you might have to pay, meaning tax.
If I'm buying or if I'm renting.
No, if you're bringing in to the country. But if you're renting, then you're renting.
No, what I mean, if I am renting from Nigeria, maybe I want to rent a Red, or from Kenya, someone who I want to rent into this place, and the person is bringing it.
Yeah.
Does the person have to pay tax for that?
Yes.
You pay tax for the camera and you pay tax for yourself again.
For yourself?
Yeah.
No, what do you mean for yourself?
No, as a crew member, they say that all the crew member have to pay tax.
Not tax, visa.
I'm not talking about
That's very different.
I'm not talking of visa. They said before any crew member will come to here to work, the person has to pay tax for working here. As a cameraman, as a director, as a costumier, makeup, and whatever.
So we're going to have to find out the
Please,
information on that.
I have to.
Yes, we'll do that. We'll have to, because I think that would be the best way to truly get, the right information, I should say.
It's all right.
And sometimes it's also,
yeah,
but still.
Information or something.
So, now, as an Ethiopian who's not been to Nigeria, and you as a filmmaker and a writer, if I was to ask you to describe Nigeria to me, I know it's going to be hard, but I think you'd be able to do it because you do both. But if you were asked to enter a 3-minute documentary, and the subject would be Nigeria.
When it comes to entertainment-wise, Nigeria is the best in Africa. In movie making, Nigeria is the second largest film producing in Africa.
Yeah.
In terms of producing revenue and all that, So, let me say, every other Africa countries look up to Nigeria. As an entertainer in any kind of the country, if you not break into Nigeria market, you've not started. Yes, that's how it is.
Now I'm going to go into the music side of movies.
Okay.
Because as an African country, and as in the music business also, Nigeria is on the top. So I'd like to know how you choose music for your film. Well, before that, I would like to ask, do you make original music for your
We always
movies?
make original music for our films.
Okay. Do you make the music before or after the film?
No, some people make it before.
Exactly.
You can send your script to a soundtrack, a musician who you want to make your soundtrack.
Yeah.
From your script, he or she can develop a storyline for you. For some time, we finish the film, we send let the person watch through the movie, or you get the person the concept of your story. We can just make.
Which one is better?
Yeah, I think sending your script across to the
music before film.
music before film.
Okay. What do you think are the challenges as African filmmakers face in Africa?
The challenge we are facing is our government don't support filmmaking. Why I say so is as in Africa, all over Africa, not just in Nigeria, you cannot just walk into the airport to film just the way they're doing it somewhere else. You must have connection, you must pay a lot of money, you must suffer a lot to have access to some certain place you're supposed to have access to. So it made us not, our film sometimes not look original. We always boycott, like for example, if I want to go to the airport, if I cannot have access to the airport, I'll just say, okay, I just cut it.
Exactly, so no airport scenes.
Yeah, no airport scenes. With lines. Oh, okay, see me at the airport, well, you're done.
Okay.
But it's not supposed to be so. I'm supposed to see, enter the airport, have access to some things, you know. It makes the movie beautiful, not just airport. What about banks? What about other places? So, and I really want them to give us that access. And other challenges we face is caused by ourselves, we the filmmakers. We don't like telling our story. We let the someone else, the white, come in Africa to tell our story for us. It's a big challenge for us.
Why? You being an African and them being the outsiders, you don't think it's easier for us Africans to tell our stories?
Then ask me, why are we not telling our stories?
Exactly. Why? Because of accessibility.
Thank you. You've answered this yourself.
Yeah, accessibility is a challenge. You are trying to do right now is you've come to Ethiopia to actually, hopefully, and I hope you do actually overcome all the challenges and do a movie because it says a lot. It really does. For a Nigerian filmmaker to come to Ethiopia and try to make a film in Ethiopia, about Ethiopia.
Actually, there's another information I got recently that I was so happy about. I went to my embassy to pay my visit, and I was told that Nigerian and Ethiopia, they've come to an understanding that they should have a cultural affiliated together, you know. Yeah, Nigeria can come to Ethiopia to collaborate in terms of cultural entertainment and all that. So
then most of your challenges should be less if you go through the embassy. We're thinking, but hold that thought. Music and Nigeria, boy, they've taken the world.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing, you know, because we all need music. But when it comes to film, I know we had this conversation earlier, but I would like to know a little bit further in choosing or in, you obviously said you actually give the script to a musician and it's the musician that actually comes up with the score. You don't have anything to say with that as a director or as a filmmaker? Or do you have input into what he produces?
Of course, you have.
You do, right?
You do. Sometimes you give him the concept.
Okay.
Okay, I want the beat to be this. I want it to be, although it depends on your setting, your movie setting. Is it an epic? Is it contemporary? Is it love story? Then the song has to go according to the story. So sometimes you can suggest, oh, I think this song should go this way. I think the beat should go this way. Yeah.
Okay. So it is very important to actually have an original score for a movie.
Yes, very, very important. Okay. And and even now, YouTube and whatever, all the platform now, they pay attention to copyright. Yeah. So if you don't do that, yeah,
You're in trouble.
Yeah.
So the other question is on costumes, because I feel costumes is as important as the music in a film.
40%.
Aha. Now describe why it's 40%.
Yeah.
And also
Because-
tell us about the importance of costume in a
Yeah.
movie.
First of all, costume tell its own story
Okay.
in a film. If you see someone wearing a lab coat, what do you think? It's a doctor. From the coat, you know that it's a doctor. You don't need to even
To say it.
to say.
Exactly.
So as you are looking, anyone who look at you goes, oh, this is an Africa, with your beard, whatever. No. So your costume tell a story. A prince supposed to dress like a prince. A king will dress like a king. And sometimes most films I watch, most African films, costume just give a top to someone to wear. No. My company, like my mother, doesn't do that. Every scene, she tell a story with her costumes. She manage her costumes. If the character is confused, she know the right color of clothes that person should wear. If the character is happy, you should have a particular color of clothes you wear.
Right.
So, and even sometimes, costumes and location should work hand in hand. I am wearing this color of dress, and the chair I'm sitting is having this color of this. You can't go.
You know,
Your clothes are going to lose into the
Exactly.
So
You have to stand out.
You have to stand out from your
so
set.
the costume designer is responsible for that.
Yes.
So they have a very big job.
Most costumier on my set they just give you costume and they walk away. They don't pay attention to the environment, to the set, their set. If their costume is actually clashing with something, with the wallpaper or with the paint of the painting or whatever,
Yeah.
they don't care. But a good costumier is supposed to be watching that a preview finder on the camera is meant for everybody, all the crew. It's meant for makeup artists, it's meant for costumier, set design, everybody. So once you go and watch your picture, if something is wrong, the rest of please let me correct this. So we make the job beautiful.
Yeah. So now that you mentioned set designers,
Okay.
set designers also come with the costumers, or set designers you hire completely
No.
separately?
You hire a set design separately, and you hire a props person separately. But sometimes a set person can also be a props person, property. Property means, as I'm having this, is supposed to be a property. Give me the drink and the cup.
Okay.
It had nothing to do with a set designer. A set designer design the location, the setting. For example, I want this place now I want to turn this place to a shrine. A set designer can remove everything from here and bring a shrine setting and set this place to look like a shrine. That is the work of a set design. It has nothing to do with the props, property.
I would like you, just for people that don't know anything about movies, let's say our audience don't know nothing about it, the first thing you need to do when you decide, or I should even say, well, you already know you are a filmmaker, so when do you decide to make a movie? Or when you see something, is that when you get inspired to write about it? Or how does that come? How does that inspiration come?
To me, I make movie even when I'm sleeping.
So you've written a lot.
A lot. And I still have a lot.
Yeah. I mean, as an African, yes, you do, because you have 55 countries to go to outside of Nigeria. And Nigeria alone has a lot of stories.
A lot of story. A lot.
Yeah.
We've not touched 10%
Yeah.
of our story.
So now I would like to know, what kind of movies do you make? What do you like? What do you do? Documentaries? Do you do feature films, romance, or which, or all?
Personally, I've not done a documentary personally, but I've worked for people.
Okay.
Like I said earlier, I have passion for African story. But as a director, as a writer, you can come in to come and direct a romantic film for you. I will do that, get my money, and I'll go.
Yeah, yeah.
But if I want to shoot my movie, my personal movie, from my money, from my pocket, I love African story, original African story.
Okay.
But I'll make a lot of films.
How many films have you made?
Close to 30. More than 30.
More than 30?
Yeah.
That's a lot. For a young man. I know you're not done because, like we said,
No.
Africa has a lot of stories
I have
to be
not
told.
started.
Yeah, you have not started. I want to know about your local film industry, you know, from our perspective. So, you know, when you describe the Nigerian film industry, I would like to know, starting from, if I send a camera to you, starting from the airport, because you talked about the issues we have here, and I would like to know, how open is your industry? How helpful is your industry? When you bring in filmmakers, when you bring in, let's say, cameras, do you have to pay tax for them, or are they tax-free?
No.
All of those.
Like I said,
Yeah.
Nigeria is the most interesting country ever to live with. Nigeria is the most flexible country, the most sweet and in fact, all those things we encounter in other countries, it's not so in Nigeria. If as a foreigner you're coming in with the government will welcome you, the individual will welcome you, people will welcome you. All those restrictions around, you don't find it in Nigeria. Even nobody can identify a foreigner in Nigeria. Even as a Nigerian, you are a foreigner in Nigeria.
Wow. Why do you say that?
Okay, because Nigeria has so many, we are 36 states already. One state, my state, Cross River State alone, someone in Cross River State has never been to Lagos.
Yeah.
That's how big Nigeria is. And apart from the three major languages, the Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba, we have 1,001 other languages.
That's the beauty of it.
So I might be among you, I might still feel like a foreigner. Right. Because you speak your language, I don't understand. I speak mine, you don't understand.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, as a Nigerian, you can travel from Port Harcourt to Lagos, you feel like a foreigner. Because we have a lot of, they have different tribes, different people living together. So you can see yourself as a foreigner, but we are all Nigerian.
Now that you're in Ethiopia, tell us about your experience in Ethiopia. From the minute you walked in till now. How long have you been here?
2 months.
2 months, okay.
2 months now. Yeah, the experience I'm having, okay, let me talk about filmmaking. Let me not talk about Ethiopia in general, you know. If I want to talk about my experience in general, we will not live here.
Okay.
So let me just go to the film area. After I've made a little research. I've spoken with few filmmakers, and I think they are having a little problem. And that problem is they don't want to learn. I think so.
To learn?
To learn. They don't want something new. It should be what we know and what we have been doing. This particular problem is not just here in Ethiopia. So many African countries, Why is it that the reason why Nigerians are always, you just say Nigeria, they are this, they are that, they are fast forward, they are criminal, they are this, they are that. The reason is, if a Nigerian man come here, you serve him water, he doesn't know how to use the cup, he will just sit back, watch you, the way you drink, he follows you. That's how Nigeria behaves. And we learn fast. We want to try something new. What is this person doing? Why is this person so successful? What does he do? I want to study. I want to know. I look, okay, then let me do this way. That's Nigeria. But most African countries, like, for example, I met a filmmaker. He told me, what can you do? I said, okay, I can do so many things. So please, I want you to help me and edit a musical video. I said, okay, why not? I want to help you. I'll do it for you. Then the person invited the director of the video, invited the person, and we met and we started talking about the video. I said, okay, let me see the video. And they actually shot the video on RAW, Blackmagic RAW, whatever, 4K. I said, okay, now do you want to edit it in 4K? I said, yeah. Do you have the machine required for 4K? Whatever. I started asking the questions. After that, I told him, no. Shooting on 4K is good. But do you have the machine that can edit it fluently? I need an iMac, whatever, and all that. He said, this, that, okay, we'll convert it to HD. I said, okay, fine. You convert it back to full HD. So why stressing yourself shooting on 4K on set? You should know that you don't have the editing machine to shoot it. Because that push shoot 4K, you had 4K camera, you want to use the 4K. That's past.
Let me ask you one question. The editing and the shooting. So when you edit in a particular camera, like you just said, the 4K, you have to edit in a machine kind of like that.
Yes.
So they go hand in hand in every camera.
Yeah, I go hand in hand.
Okay.
Like if you put a footage shot in 4K into some laptop or system that doesn't have,
Power.
you can edit. It can't even play. Okay. Yeah, that's all. That's by the way. Then I said, okay, I watch the footage and I said, okay, how do you want me to, this how I edit, this, that. Say, no, we edit by story, by this, by that. I say, no, it's wrong. I was trying to tell him easier way or what I think is best.
Okay.
You know what happened at the next? He called the producer aside and said, I don't want this guy.
Because you were doing too many new things.
Then, even some big company like TV station, I've been to few stations in here. When I told them I want to make a movie, they said, except you make it in Amharic. I said, okay, so only Amharic content that you want. So yeah, that's what people like. Then I went to the street and I make my inquiry. Trust me, 20% of Ethiopians understand English. They are fed up with the kind of content they watch on TV. They want something new.
Something new.
Many of them go to YouTube to watch those things. So because nobody do those research to know what
the people
want.
Wow.
We have 3 categories of people. The people in the rural area, the middle class, the young ones who are now in university and the high school, whatever, who have seen things outside, and they want things like that, and the paparazzi kind of old men. So everybody have their category and what they like.
Right.
So as an entertainer, okay, it's okay. What do we do? And you sit back. Let's look at Ethiopia in 10 years. How Ethiopia in 10 years will look like. with this young generation, with this internet age and the social media stuff. Let's start now. If we don't start now to change the narrative of how our content look like, we may have problems tomorrow. That's when a foreigner will always come and take what belongs to you, because the people here don't want to change. So when a foreigner, like a Nigerian, come in, I say, wow, I think I like here. That's exactly what I say to myself. Let me give you a story why I say so. My grandfather told me a story that those days they were sent to a particular village to sell a shoe. There were two people. Their master sent them with a lot of shoes to go to a particular village to sell. They got there. They discovered that nobody in that community wears shoes. They are all walking on barefooted. And the friend said, then why are we here then? No business here. He left. I said, they don't wear shoes, so how can I go to sell? My grandfather said, wow, opportunity. He went back and tell his boss that he need more shoes. But he said, your second left and said they don't wear shoes. He said, yes. I will teach them how to wear the shoe and sell it to them.
And that's what he did.
And that's what he did. So if the people don't want to learn, we come, make it, make our money, make our name, and we go.
But the best part of that is there's always one person that wants to learn. You know, out of 10 people that you may have tried, there might be one person that would be curious enough to say, you know what, show me.
Please.
I want to see new things. I want to, because you have to understand, a lot of times, I would say in Africa, we all learn by working. It's not because we went to school or such and such. A lot of us learn by working, by seeing, and by actually repeatedly doing that same thing. So you become an engineer, you become a mechanic, you become, you know, all kinds of things. But to be able to change that, because it's hard, they say it's hard to teach, what was that saying? An old dog, new tricks. So you have to be convincing enough. It might be even that you have to show them what you did with that particular camera maybe, or editing machine, to let them understand what you mean when you mean quality or good.
Okay.
You have to be also willing to teach, because coming from where you do, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So when you come to a director here in Ethiopia and he says, no, I'm sorry, this is my way and it's just my way, you have to be able to convince him to say, okay, keep your way. I just want to show you my way. And you might learn one or two things from it. If you do, that means I've helped. If not, it's also good, because you are satisfied with what you're doing. Because you can't convince people, right? You have to just have a way of somehow making sure they see it. And since you're visual, it will be easier.
Yeah. And trust me, the world is getting to that level. That right now, those days they say education is the key to success. Now, education is the padlock. The key to success is your skill. So, while I'm here, I want to use this medium to tell everybody, whosoever, that want to change the movie industry in Ethiopia should come. Let us work together. I am here for that.
Beautiful.
I'm not here to see how beautiful the city look like. I am here to make an impact. Let us build Africa together.
So, I'm sure our audiences now understand where you're coming from. So, if they need to contact you, I'm assuming you'll give us all your contacts. With that said, that was my last question. Unless you have anything to say. Actually, it's not unless you have anything, because I know you have a lot to say. I'm going to give you the last words. Advise, any kind of whatever it is that you want to say to us, not only us, but to, Africa in general, to all our,
Okay, thank
our
you.
creatives out there.
Thank you. Please, my advice for all Africans is we should try to be original. We should try to tell our story by ourselves.
Our way.
I want to say something. I was reading something. When I was coming up in school, they used to tell us that a particular man, Mongo Park, discovered a river Niger in Nigeria. We were all in school, Mongo Park discovered River Niger. We were happy that, come, how did he discover River Niger? He's a foreigner from wherever he is. He came to Nigeria to discover our river. Now, before he came, we don't have people living in that community. At least, let me be sure, he might have asked one or two persons direction.
Right.
That means he met some people. That means he's not the one who discovered
went there
it.
and discovered it.
No! He just go again there, claimed. So we allow them to come to Africa, take what belongs to us, personalize it, and they say, Mary Celeste stop the killing of twins. How? They didn't tell us. And so many.
There were quite a lot.
And another one, they said the white are the people who brought slave trade in Africa. It's a lie.
Yeah.
Before they came, a slave trade were existing. I just find out that. Africa, our father were trading between them.
Between each other.
So the white only tap into the business. They saw it as a good business. And they tap into it. So what happened? Why don't we use our medium, our visual arts to tell the young ones that are coming up the real story, how it started?
It has to be the want, the desire to know, and also to show. Like, if there were more of people like you, I think all of Africa we would know our stories. But there aren't a lot of filmmakers that are actually after teaching us our own stories. I think we are now coming up with that. There you go. There's director Johnbosco right here. We have one that wants to teach us. No, I'm serious, because we don't learn our stories in school. So in most cases, it's our own desire to learn about us that actually, we go find a book or we go watch a movie, and that's how we know about us.
About us.
It's not because we wrote the books for us either. Yeah. So it has to start with this generation to start talking about yourself, your way, and also teaching others about your way.
Yeah, and even when I came in, I wanted to know few history about Ethiopia, and I read too. Someone gave me a book. Oh, that book was so fantastic. There's this prince that was taken along with a young boy outside this Ethiopian, and they went to the queen, and queen rejected one, and all the story, he came back to his roots to identify where he came from and all that. Wonderful story. What about a lady who fought the Italian over Ethiopia? Now, there's something I discovered. When I asked them, they say Ethiopia wasn't colonized and we are different. We are not African. I said, you're not African? You don't see yourself to be African? Let me tell you, you were not colonized, but those people who you refuse to colonize, they are still ruling you indirectly.
Exactly. If you call yourself, if you think you're not an African, somebody's done something.
So then I was talking to someone, and I told him that, see, you think the slavery is over. They abolished this. This is a lie. They only took the chain from our leg and put it in our head. Those days, they used to handcuff us our forefathers hand and leg
Hand
like
and
this.
leg, yeah.
So they only free us from the shackles. They remove it from our leg and our hand, but they return it back to our brain.
Right.
So we are still I say we are still slaved.
Yeah. We're
It's
still
somehow.
colonized, yeah.
So what I'm saying is that let us, the creative art, please, I want everybody who wants us to tell our story by ourselves to come out. Let's collectively together create Africa. So that's what I am asking for. And we can't do it alone.
No, we
We
can't.
need the resources, we need so many things, we need idea, we need whatever, when we come to you, Allah, open your door for us.
Yeah. That's the least you could do.
Yeah, that's it.
By the way, the name of that book is The Pioneers of Change.
Okay.
And the man you were talking about was my great-grandfather. And the book was given to you by me.
Wonderful.
Yes. That's a movie to be made.
Yes.
Yes, definitely. So thank you very much, Johnbosco, for coming here and giving us this wonderful conversation, to have the moment to talk with you. Hope you have a wonderful stay in Ethiopia and you do make that movie. Then we will talk again.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us today. We've had a great conversation with our director, Johnbosco from Nigeria. Tune in on Saturdays on Arts TV. This is the show Africa with your host, Katsalork Seifu. Have a lovely afternoon. Thank you.